Okay, good morning everyone. Good
morning.
Here. Okay, so first of all, myself Prathamesh Rasam. I work as an engineering manager with Epsilon Delta and working in the performance field for 7 to 8 years. And currently, I am leading a team for Gemini tool, which tool actually a real user measurement tool, which measure performance for every user once integrated. And with the performance, I work with many companies as a consultant, software developer. Overall, I have a decade experience in the web performance. Okay, so this talk is not how to what you have to do to improve performance. This talk is all about performance tools. There are so many performance tools, and people are confused. There are Lighthouse, there are page speed, and in my all the experience, I get many questions that I have deployed changes, but my score is not increasing. I have not done anything, but my performance degraded. So in this talk, I'm going to give you a quick overview of tools and overview of real user measurement tools, and I am also going to present you case studies of a real user measurement tool. So yeah, before start, I want to get to know how many people are aware about the concept of Core Web Vital. How many people are aware about the concept? Okay. Okay. So yeah, I will take a quick recap of what is Core Web Vital, what is a performance. So web performance is all about how browser can quickly paint or render a fully functional website. Suppose if you go into any restaurant and the service of a waiter is very delayed, it is taking lot of time, you will be irritated and that will be end up in bad review. Plus, you may not visit future that restaurant. Similarly, if you are even if content on the website is very good, but your website is slow, the user will just bounce off. It will go to another website. So web performance is very important. Poor performance just draw away your users. If your site have a good performance, it will it will improve your conversion, it will improve your conversion, and it will improve your what is this? Sorry. It will improve your site speed ranking, which is very important. And so this is a it will also make Google happy. So nowadays people are so much focused on the web performance because web performance is responsible for your Google search ranking. So all the I see so many SEO consultancy are hiring web performance engineers. Why? Because so SEO is dependent on lot of parameters like mobile friendly, safe browsing, HTTPS, and lot of SEO practices. But Core Web Vital is one of the important factor nowadays. If your site has a bad performance, your site will not get good Google ranking in search results. Okay. So we will just have a quick recap of Core Web Vital. Okay, before starting Core Web Vital, I will tell you history. So when I started my career, during 2014-15, uh, people for web performance. People are using concept as a load time. If you just open a browser in DevTools, you can see there is a onload time. Okay, so that onload time was your site performance. But what people used to do, onload time is once you finish all your HTTP requests, onload event will be triggered. So people used to start request after onload event. So eventually, after 2 3 requests, people used to do a hack, and people used to improve their onload time. Over the years, metrics are changed. After onload, people start referring speed index as a perf metric. After in 2019, Google introduced first contentful paint metric. And in 2020, Google initiated these three metrics, which are right now LCP, CLS, and FID. LCP is the largest contentful paint, CLS is a cumulative layout shift, and FID is the first input delay. Okay. With these three metrics, there is another important metric, first contentful paint, FCP, which is not a core web vital, but which is also important metric. Okay. So now I will explain each metric. Okay. So first I will explain a first contentful paint. What is a first contentful paint? Suppose you type any URL in a browser. Okay. And if site is slow for the 3 4 seconds, 6 seconds, you are just seeing a blank screen. you will easily get irritated and you will just close the tab and you just move away from site. As a developer, you should render something as quickly as possible. So what is FCP? It's rendering any content as quickly as possible, whether it is a small header, small logo, or any loading item. So that will tell user, okay, something is happening, so I should wait. So FCP is the first contentful page. I am rendering something as quickly as possible. Okay, so now this FCP is done. Now second is a LCP. LCP is the largest contentful page. Suppose you are visiting any e-commerce website and you are visiting a product page. On product page, what is largest element? The product image. Okay. So LCP is how much time taken to load that largest image, or if there is no image, largest text box within the viewport. Just remember within the viewport. So what is a viewport? If now this page is rendered and there will be other content also below the fold. Okay. So in this viewport, initial viewport, what is my largest page, largest content? This image. For this, maybe this image. For this text, I think it will be this text paragraph because there is no image. So I should able to render my largest content, whether it is image or whether it is a text, as quickly as possible. So that is my LCP. Okay. Second is a CLS. Okay. So sometime we visit any website and we just go to click one particular button, and due to some banner, that button move down and it goes up. Many things happen. So that is unexpected layout shift happen on a page, and that is also very irritating. So what browser does? Browser calculate each layout shift transition and provide one score. So that score is called as a cumulative layout shift. So there should not be a layout shift in your page. So most of the common example what I saw. So suppose there is a particular page. So I can say example of this page. Okay. Uh, below this image there will be a particular text content. Okay. So now image tag is passed and this text is passed. But this image will take a time to download that image, right? But this text will displayed immediately. Now, if this condition is not handled properly, this text will be displayed here. Once the image is downloaded and it is rendered, this image will render here and text will shift downward. So that is a layout shift. You need to avoid that. How you will avoid that? You will just reserve place using placeholder or skeleton. If you see any social media site, when you scroll, the response is received by API, but image takes time to download. So what they show some skeletons, and after the skeletons, the space is reserved for that particular listing. So this is a CLS. Now third is a FID. So this metric is going to be replaced by INP in March 2024. So this is there will be only for next 3 months. So what is this related to interactivity? So what it measures? It measures how much time it takes to process first user interaction. Suppose I am clicking a button on a button, how much, and on that button I have binds particular on click event. Okay, how much time it takes to trigger that on click event. Sometimes browser main thread is busy with executing lot of stuff, and if it is busy, even if I click a button, that my code will not start executing, right? So that delay is a first input delay, and it only measures for user first interaction. Now what is the problem with that? Most of the site I saw in real user data, FID is always good, it is always solved. So what Google is now doing, it is replacing this metric with INP metric. What INP will do, INP will calculate all the interactions, plus it will also consider presentation delay, how much time it took to do some render changes on page. Suppose I have click a button and on that button there is action that this area will be expanded. So in FID, it's just a start of a processing, but in INP, it will also consider the presentation delay. Okay. So in March 2024, this metric will be gone and new INP will be introduced. Okay. Now I will show you quick demo. So FID I can't measure in synthetic tools, which I am going to cover later. I will show you video example that will give you a better idea. Okay. So these are the video I have captured on webpage test. It is a free open source tool where you just add URL and it will just take a screenshot every second, and it also create a video, this kind of video. So I have type a URL in a browser and I hit the enter. Okay, I have done this test on slow 3G in Moto G power device. Okay, so now 1 second. This is the time. Okay, the request is sent to server. I have received response. Now my JS tags are passing, but my JS are blocking. So nothing is rendering. My CSS are blocking. So nothing is rendering. Now after 16 seconds, something is rendering. So it takes so much time to render the first content on my page. So this is the example of luxury. This is the old site example. So user will be frustrated if it is on a slow network, like I'm 10, 12 seconds, nothing is rendering. So your goal should be you always render any content like this logo or the header as quickly as possible by removing all the blockade dependency. Okay. Now we will see next example. This is a layout shape example. The page is rendering and you can see there is a lot of movement up and down. So now this is gone. Now this is rendered here. This is moving down. So this is a layout shift happened during the rendering. So if I know I am going to render this next available slot here, what I will do, I will reserve this space initially. I will render the skeleton for this image in this area. Okay. Now we will go next exam for LCP. Now this site has solved FCP problem. They are rendering very quickly first element, but LCP is delayed. Okay. So now the test is running. You can see they are rendering header at a 3-4 second, but my main product image is still not rendered. It is taking a lot of time. It's 13 second, 14 second. Okay. Now at the 22 second, the product image is rendered. So this is very slow experience for users. Okay. So you have to always improve your this matrix if you want to improve web performance. Okay. So are we clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So measuring site speed. So there are so many performance tools. I will categorize all the performance tools in two categories. One is a synthetic and one is a real user measurement tool. What is synthetic? Synthetic is, I will say, as a lab tool, lab measurement, where I will provide a one particular URL. Okay, I have to test this URL, and that URL will be tested on fixed bandwidth, fixed location, fixed network. Okay. Suppose I know I have a CLS issues. Okay. So I have tested, I got a CLS issue. Then I am testing on Moto G 3G network, fixed configuration. And after issue fix, I will run again and I will check whether my issues are fixed or not. Okay. So these kind of measurement tools are called as a synthetic and real user measurement tools. Real user measurement tools will code snippet will integrated on your site, and in real users, when users are browsing your site on their browsers, real users will measure the performance, it will track to the server, and it will provide an insight. So you will get to know what your users are facing on during development, on a staging. We are just testing on known bandwidths, known devices. But your users are facing so many different configuration on devices, different networks. They will have different latency issues. So you have to improve performance for your users. So measuring, having a real user measurement tool is very important. So how many people have done any test on Lighthouse, web page test or page speed? Okay, so many people, great. So for other, I will give you quick demo. Okay, what is Lighthouse? Okay, so in Chrome Dev tool, you will have one option as a lighthouse. Okay, you have to just select your device type and you have to run a test. Meanwhile, I will run a test for another site in web page test where I am adding a URL. I have selected my device mobile 3G Mumbai, or I can just change device, like I have changed the location Singapore and I will just run one test. I'm not starting the test. Okay. Now this is a page speed inside. This is another free tool by Google many people use. I'm adding another URL here, same URL, health card, analyze. Okay, so this takes time 2-3 minutes, and I will open one RAM tool. So this is one of the real user measurement tool where we have data for our all users. Okay. So what I have shown you, Lighthouse. Okay. So this Lighthouse is a synthetic tool. Okay. Where whenever you run Lighthouse, your these parameters are always fixed. You are always running on MotoG power. Okay. It is always single page load. It is always run on so slow 4G network. Okay. So and you get all your performance number. Similarly, web page test, I have it is running on 3G fast on Singapore location. You can select any location. Okay, they have logged this too. Okay. Then I get a performance number with limit view and waterfall. Now this page speed is another tool. The above section is a real user data, and this below section is a lighthouse, what I have run. Okay. Now what is above section? Whenever you access any site on a Chrome browser, Chrome anonymously track your performance data, store in their CruxDB, and their data is aggregated over 28 days, and that value is shown in here. Okay. So if you see here, latest 28 data collection period. Okay. So it is not my current data. It is always delayed by 28 days. And now I will show you. This is real user measurement tool. You can see the data right now 11 PM. What are my number of requests? What is the total request? So if I select mobile, the data is changed. And so this is a real user data. What is happening right now with my users, all users. Okay. So these kind of tools there. Now what are the difference? In synthetic like Lighthouse or web page tests, it is specific to browser, specific to machine, simulated connections. It is simulated. So although the device was MotoG, it was not actually MotoG. It is a simulated viewport. And because the MotoG device is slow, they are reducing some CPU frequency. So no real user inputs like click events. I don't know what is happening. I'm just running a test and I'm getting the data. It is very useful for debugging issues. I know that there is a CLS or LCP issue during my dev cycles. I have fixed that issue. I will run again. Okay, that issue is fixed. So it is very useful during your development and staging process. But yeah, no logged in user data. So web page test, if you saw just example, that was blocked by that company, right? I was not able to test even that site data. But even if I able to do, I will not able to test the login data. There are scripts available with web page test. Using that script, I can do basic tasks like click a button, but up to a particular limit. So that is missing. Not useful for monitoring unknown events. Like in synthetic, you will always test the happy flow with all URL, but in real user, we get lot of new cases. I will show this in later part. So what is a real user? Real user, okay, you are getting data of your all users all simulated or not simulated, sorry, real data on all networks, all different browsers, all devices. You know what is happening at users, what actually your users are facing. So your users are located on different geographic locations. So you also get that data. What is happening? What is my performance on 4G connection? What is my performance on 2G connection? What is on mobile? What is my performance on specific area? Because area wise, even if bandwidth is good, there are latencies also based on areas. So you get alerting and debugging capability. So as a real user is always tracking your data. If anything happen, not because of release, anything other issue happens, real user will always provide you alerts that okay, LCP is degraded for that particular page. So you will get to know okay, something is happening. Then I need to find the issue and I have to solve it. So it's not like that issue is happening for all your pages for particular set of users. So you will get to know using real user data. Long-term trends and usage pattern. Long-term trends, you will get a long-term graphs, how your performance is improving or how your performance is degrading. So this is another benefit. Real user page waterfalls. So we know a happy waterfall in DevTools that my first HTML request, then JS, CSS request. But what is happening at users? Like I'm loading file on Chrome, I can see 6-7 parallel JS are downloading. But in real user, there real user may be facing some issue and waterfall might be blocked due to. I will show you one case study where developer was not responsible but waterfall was blocked. That type of issues we can capture using real user. So these are the example. Gemini, what I have shown. There is a CruxDB which is open source. New Relic, maybe many of you know in companies. There are other like Catchpoint. So many players in real user space. So now I will show you what lack in synthetic and what you can harness in real users. Okay. So first of all, Lighthouse, it is not a real user data. And what I have seen in industry, people track this score number. Okay. Uh, so what management do every Monday, they check what is the score for my homepage. They every Monday they prepare Excel sheet and they just tracking score. But I will always suggest do not track score. Track track a score, but which score? Always track this metric independently. Why? Because this score is based on the weightage provided for this metric. Like for CLS, the weightage is 25%. Okay. Whenever you go to Lighthouse, if you click C calculator, you will get the weightage. Okay. What happens when Lighthouse update? They change the weightage. So even if you have not done any code changes, your score will change. Then it will be very difficult to explain upper management what they will ask, what wrong you have done, why my score is degraded. So that's why you should always this metric also independently. So now look, this FID is going to be removed in March. It is not measurable in Lighthouse because we can't simulate clicks. They will add INP and other metrics. So they will release a new Lighthouse version. So at that time, they are going to change the weightage. So even if you have not done any changes, your score is going to change. So with score, you have to always track each metric number independently. Important. Now the opportunity section is too generic. So you get the opportunity section where you get a lot of insights, what changes you have to do in your site to improve your performance. But that is a generic rule. Maybe based on your user base, there are some other issues they are facing that you need to fix. That is not you can't do that in synthetic. So for that you have to go for RAM. So this is Lighthouse. Now this is page speed. Now this page speed above section is a real user data. What Chrome is tracking. Okay. Now you will ask me if it is already available in free, why should I integrate any other tool, paid tool? So first of all, the data is delayed by 28 days. Okay. Suppose I have deployed a new changes, I will not get any new. It will not reflected here quickly. You have to wait till 28 days. Okay. So now the INP is going to added on 1st March. Okay. and you will say, okay, I will deploy my changes on 1st March. Numbers will not be visible here. You have to deploy that changes on 2nd Feb. If you deploy on 2nd Feb, you will get that data on 1st March. Suppose you deploy on 15th Feb, then from 1 Feb to 15th Feb, there will be a bad data, your less performance data, and after 15 to 28, it will be a good data. So you will not get a good numbers here, and if this assessment is failed, it will affect your Google search ranking. Okay, so there are threshold that your number should be in good threshold. Okay, so this is the disadvantage that data is delayed. Data is reported only from Chrome. Okay, so your users are accessing so many different browsers, maybe Safari, Firefox. The data is not collected. That data is not collected in this report. So I will tell you one of example of my client. That company sell luxury goods. Okay, and they were doing a lot of performance optimization, but that optimization is not reflected here. Here the changes are not that much reflected. They are doing so much performance work. Why? Because when we integrated a LUM tool, what we saw, 80% of their traffic was on Safari. Okay, so they have deployed the performance changes, but their users are mostly on Safari. The people who are buying the 5 lakh bags, luxury items, most tend to use iPhones or MacBooks. And now you will argue that right now I am using a Chrome on MacBook, right? There will be people using Chrome on MacBook, but this is also not tracked because when you use a Chrome on any iOS device, it uses a WebKit browser engine. Okay, so this data is only tracked for browsers using Chromium browser engine. So what browsers are using Chromium? First is a Chrome, second is a Edge. So Safari, Chrome on a iOS or macOS are using WebKit engine, and Firefox have another browser engine. So even if you use a Chrome on a MacBook or iPhone, the data is not tracked here. So you are missing that data. Okay, you are only getting the data from Chrome. No data from low traffic site or URL. Suppose I have added a new page. Okay, so now they are tracking data. If you see, there are two tabs: this URL and origin. If that URL has a very low traffic, data will be missing here. They only aggregate data which have a high traffic. So I will not able to test my new URLs. So that is a bad. I don't know what my users are facing for my new features, right? No grouping by URLs and patterns. So there are two sections. Either you will get performance for this URL or origin. What is origin? So now I have run this test for www.healthcard.com. So whatever the pages under that domain in public indexed by Google, whatever the performance for that pages, it will be aggregated into 75th percentile and it will be shown here. Okay, I can't get data of like product pages. Product page generally have some pattern like www.headcard.com/product/ then that product name, whether iPhone, Lava. So that pattern is /star. So I want pattern wise performance. So that is missing here. So I will tell you one example. I have worked with one client which is in the insurance domain. Okay, they have one single domain. Okay, in that single domain they have insurance category like motor insurance, health insurance, and life insurance. Now their motor insurance site is in Angular, their health insurance site is in React, and life insurance site is React plus SSR Next.js. Like they are migrating. So here what they are getting under that domain data. I want to track independently what is my performance for health insurance, what is my performance for life insurance. They are not able, you will not able to track it here. So real user measurement tools give you flexibility that I will make my own grouping and I will able to track it. Okay, so now I will show you some case studies. So I have not taken any happy case studies like some developer have deployed the changes and my LCP got degraded or any metric got degraded, and the real user measurement tool shown that there is a degradation. That is not happy, but that is a normal cases. I have taken some edge cases that is not reproducible in synthetic tools. Okay. Okay. So first is whenever you start performance optimization task, generic perception that I will start with my homepage. Okay, everyone thinks that my homepage has a high traffic. Okay, but in my decade experience, what I have seen, mostly in e-commerce space or any company which sell any item on the internet, the majority of traffic are there for the product or category pages like listing pages. Why? Because suppose there are very less time that I go to browser and add the URL and visit the site. Most of the traffic are driven by social media. Like you get in feed, suppose you search for something iPhone, in Instagram feed you can see the iPhone. I will click here, I will directly land on the iPhone page of that. Or I Google for t-shirts. First link I will get Flipkart t-shirt listing page, not home page. So real user measurement tools allows you to identify what are your top traffic pages. Okay, so if this is a bar graph, this x-axis is contribution to total traffic, and these number are my performance number. Okay, if you see my performance number is bad for homepage, it is 9.93. So, but I will not start with that page because that page is only 10% of my traffic. So I improve for home page, it is going to only affect 10% users. But if I start with my product detail page, it is going to impact my 55% user. So it is always important, check data and based on that start focus on your performance task. So this is the example of one of your site. Yeah, another example I will tell you. There is a one healthcare site in India, and 2021 I was doing a consulting project with them, and they have done lot of optimization. Their site is in React CSR, and they using React Snap. They used to create HTML for each their individual page, and they used to host on CDN. They used to cache, no blocking, nothing, and they deployed it. But still, in a page speed, the numbers was not reflecting. Okay, so once we integrated run tool, what we found out that percentage of traffic for that pages built in React, the main site, was only 30%. 70% traffic was their blog pages. Their marketing that blog pages was built in WordPress, but that under same origin. Okay. So what marketing team used to do? They used to write so many articles and they used to do so many marketing on social media. So 70% traffic was blog pages and they were improving only for 30%. So once we saw WordPress site that was completely unoptimized, there was so many issues. Once it's optimized, their numbers were great. Okay, so it is very important to know what is your high traffic pages, and that data you will able to identify using Run tools. So this is same graph, like what are my top entry points. So people think that my entry point, like when the user land first time on your site is homepage, but that is not. Most of the time it is product detail or a listing page. It is based on your industry or what site you are catering. Okay. So I am taking most of the e-commerce site example. Okay, now this is second case study, LCP render time. Okay, so now you know the LCP, like how much time take to render that image. Okay, so this is an example of one site. The site is built in React plus Next.js. Okay, they have done everything what we want to do for performance. They in initial HTML, I have whole HTML like image container. All HTML tags are there. There is no blocking JS CSS. There the HTML is able to paint whole the full area without any dependency. They also preloaded image. There is a preload image tag which tells browser that image is important. So this example for product detail page, Now that phone image, which is my LCP image, what they have done, they have added reload tag in the header. This will tell browser that this image is important. You have to download as quickly as possible. Then browser will mark it as a important and it will download it quickly. So the preloaded image, this mark is second. You can see this is my LCP image. So all the performance guidelines are followed. Still my LCP is here. Delayed LCP. My image is downloaded here. I got my HTML here. But why my LCP is still here? Okay. And when developers were debugging on local or on any staging uh, environment, they were not able to find the issue. And even the real user, they were just checking a browser. So what we have done, so this gap, like I have downloaded my LCP image, but it is rendered here. This is called LCP render time delay because it delays your rendering. I have downloaded my image, but it is rendering here. So this is render time delay. Okay, this is a sub part of a LCP. So it is not that you are sometimes what happens we download, but the HTML is not there. Mostly in CSR cases because browser wait for React to download. Chunks will be downloaded for that component. Then component will create HTML. After that, image will be displayed there, right? So that is a render delay. Now this is SSR. Everything was there. So what we have done in Rumtool, we have one scatter plot where we are able to check what are my delayed sample. We click one of these like this, and we found out that in their waterfall one JS is added, Mirage to main.js. Okay, this JS is added for product pages. Okay. Now when I asked the developer told me that we have not added this JS anything, and even domain is also different, not their domain, some third-party domain. And when I check the code, what I found out that on a local or any their staging environment UAT, it was a normal image tag. Okay, got a particular set of users. This image tag has this CSS style display none visibility hidden. This is added automatically. This JS path is added automatically. So if my display none visibility hidden, this image will not be displayed, right? So what is happening? This Mirage to JS is so when the request received by server runtime, it is adding this JS in the HTML, plus it is adding this style display none to all the images, okay, and after onload event, it is removing this and making this image visible. Now why this is actually this JS is doing that? So one of their DevOps just enable image optimization in some Cloudflare configuration, and this is their old JS. So earlier, as I told you, people was optimizing load time, right? People were optimizing load time. So optimize load time. This is very good. I am delaying my images and everything. But in today's scenario, what I want to do, I want to show my largest content pool paint, whether it is an image or anything, as quickly as possible. So this is anti-pattern. You should not lazy load your largest content pool well. I have seen that people, there is a performance recommendation, lazy load images. Okay, they add lazy load for all images. You should not add lazy load for your above the fold images, which are visible in initial report. So this is kind of anti-pattern. Okay, another anti-pattern what I found in my experience, transitions. So I have worked with one company. Their sites was based on Shopify, okay, FMCG site, and in Shopify, if you are aware about that, they have a lot of tools like CMS. I want to add a gallery. I will just go click plugin and I will add a gallery. You have to do minimum coding, okay. So what happened? One of the developer just applies some new plugin in their gallery code. Okay, it was a fancy plugin. What that fancy plugin was doing, that showing the images in fade-in way. Like initially it will blur, then it will slowly, it kind of revealing animation effect. But that degraded their performance. you should not apply fancy transitions to your main image. So their LCP image was at 5 seconds, but browser will only consider LCP time when your image is loaded 100% with opacity 1. So what I saw the animation was initially opacity will be 0, then 0 0.1, 0 0.2, and it took 3 seconds. Even I have downloaded my image and everything is ready. So that fancy animation cost us their LCP time. So you should not apply this kind of animation for your main images, main content. Okay. Now this is a case study for CLS. Okay. So first, this is a screenshot of one of the site. The CLS got degraded suddenly at 12 p.m. for one of my client, and developers told that we have we don't have done anything. Okay. So using data, what we found out that some marketing team were running some campaign using GTM. They started some campaign, and using GTM they were adding some stuff in HTML, and that campaign was running on social media, Facebook and Instagram. So only that percentage of users were getting that LCP problem, and when the CNS is reported here, as a generally developer was going to that page and just checking, but Lighthouse is showing me 0. Even page speed Lighthouse section is displayed 0. But that issue only comes when there will be a campaign parameters, because it was only working on the issue was there only for campaigns, some marketing campaigns. So during marketing campaigns there are parameter pass, okay, from social media site to your site. Okay. So with parameters, when I have added URL in a browser and I run the Lighthouse, at that time I got the CLS issue. So because of the run tools, we were able to identify that URLs, what URLs that issue is there. Okay. Otherwise, we just check happy flow. I will just go product, take any product, and I will run Lighthouse. So because of the tool, I was able to identify the campaigns URL. Second is, yeah, this is another example. One of site has similarly CLS degraded. Their team was sitting in Noida office, and they were similarly checking Lighthouse, and but CLS is 0. So when we identified data in scatterplot, what we found out that their site was a worldwide, okay, and in UAE Bahrain they were rendering the Arabic pages. So the CLS issue was the Arabic pages. So when we take that Arabic pages path or this URL and added a browser, there was a CLS issue because the different font and language was there. So then they fixed it. Otherwise, they were always testing English and French inside, but the Arabic traffic, the issue was for only for Arabic traffic. So because of the RAM tools, we were able to identify this issue. Now this is just success case study. Is it help? We are doing so much thing. It is help. So this is screenshot of one of company. They have improved LCP, HCP, CLS, and this is screenshot from Google Search Console. Their CTRs and all the metrics, business conversion metrics, all improved suddenly, same time, and their revenue also got increased. Very good. So improving performance is very important, and whenever you start improving your site, always check for your users what actually your users are facing, and based on that you take a decision. Thank you.